Hello, you're welcome back. Like I said earlier, we are starting with the first module, which is the project management fundamentals. And basically, what we're going to be considering here are basic project management concepts. Okay, and then we're going to also be explaining how some of these concepts, how they play out in real life scenario. Okay, straight to the first session or the first chapter of this class, which is definition of a project. Okay, we are going to be defining a project, what a project is in this particular chapter. Okay, for a lot of people, even project practitioners, okay, we still find it a bit difficult, okay, to really explain what a project is. Okay, when you're explaining what a project is, we are not just talking about the name. We are not interested in the name of the project, okay, that you're working on. Okay, when you want to explain a project, you want you to explain the project, talking about the intricacies, okay, and different aspects of the project. What makes what you are working on, what makes it a project. Okay, if you quickly look at our menu for today, okay, the session 1 of this training, we have the course overview. Before we go to what a project is, we have the course overview. Okay, and what we want to do first is to understand what is meant by a project. You can see that. We want to understand what project management means. We want to identify and understand basic project management concepts. Okay, then we also want to identify the project life cycle. Okay, we want to enhance your ability to sell ideas and make presentations. We're going to be talking about that too. Okay, making presentations as a project manager, as a project practitioner. Okay, presentations is part of what you're meant to do. Okay, when you need to present your project ideas and convince your sponsors or the stakeholders, okay, why that project is going to worth the investment. So we're going to be looking at project selection criteria, what we call prioritizing projects here. Okay, then we also talk about briefly conceptualizing your project, including goals and vision statement, and then we'll look at the statement of work. We're going to be looking at the statement of work as well. Okay, so straight to what a project is. Now, if you look at this intro, what we're trying to do here is to look at what a project is, and then we want to establish the foundation, okay, for what a project is by actually looking at a project from an angle that is a bit different from the angle that you have been looking at it from. Okay, we are going to be looking at the project, okay, not as regular, because we have people, even when they are working on regular work, okay, they still refer to their regular work as project. Okay, now in this introduction, we have projects that become the way of the working world. Computers and automation have eliminated many types of repetitive work. This has freed people to focus on building new things, new products, new services, and improved organizations. And where there are things that need to be created, there is a need for projects. So projects have to do with creation, creating new things, creating new products, creating new services, creating new information, coming up with new information that is different from what we have before, or you are adding to the existing information that we had before. So when we talk about project, we are talking about creation, a new product, a unique product. So there's a clear-cut distinction between a project, there's a clear-cut distinction between what we call a project and regular work. Okay, there's a clear-cut distinction between what we call project, okay, and regular work. So what we're saying is, when you're working on regular work, don't mistake it for a project. When it's a project, then let us know, or you should know that it's a project that you're working on. You see, all projects are work, but not all work are project. So what are some of the things that you need to take into consideration when we're defining a project? Okay, it's a defining the project. Now, how do projects differ from regular work? We're going to talk about that. What are some words or phrases that describe a project, what a project is? Then what are some words or phrases that describe what a project is? Then how can we put these thoughts together to define a project? Now, if you are defining a project, you need to talk about the factors like time. Okay, time must come to play. Okay, which we are going to see. We need to talk about cost or the budget. Cost. We need to talk about quality, which a lot of people don't really take to heart. Okay, when they, especially in this part of the world, when they are working on project. Okay, quality is very, very essential. You should be able to determine what the quality standard that you're going to set for the project. You're going to be able to determine that from the very beginning of the project. Okay, and then we begin to work with that quality. Okay, straight from PMBOK. Okay, let's define project now from PMBOK. PMBOK, this is PMBOK here. Okay, that's PMBO. Okay, 5th edition. PMBOK means Project Management Body of Knowledge. PMBOK means Project Management Body of Knowledge, and PMBOK is usually created by PMI. Okay, we talked about PMI, that's Project Management Institute. Okay, and PMBOKs are the Bible for project managers globally. Okay, so we're using the 5th edition, which is the most recent edition. The exam at the moment currently is based on this 5th edition. Now, a project is defined as a temporary endeavor that you undertake to create a unique product, service, or result. Okay, a temporary endeavor that you undertake to create a unique product, service, or result. Now, let's take a look at some factors in this definition. Now, the first one is temporary. Okay, and temporary is not short in duration, but predefined start and end date. Yeah, there has to be a start date and then an end date. Okay, if it's a project, we already talked about time. Yeah, you remember we talked about time. If it's a project, okay, then there has to be a definite start date. Even if you cannot give us a definite end date, we should be able to speculate when we are going to end this project. Okay, and when we say temporary, we are not necessarily saying that it has to be short in duration. Okay, but we are saying that it has a predefined start and end date. Okay, then project gives you what you did not have before you started the project. Okay, we said a project creates what? A unique. Okay, every time you're working on a project, at the end of that project, you get what you did not have at the beginning of the project. Okay, then project product outlives project product. That means what you are creating from a project will outlive the project that created it. Okay, the outcome of the project, the unique product of the project will outlive the project that created them. It will outlive the project team. It will outlive some of the equipment that were used. It will outlive the opportunity that was taken advantage of at that particular point in time. It will outlive the project manager himself. It will even outlive the company, okay, that created the project. A very good, a typical example is construction project. Okay, construction. Okay, most buildings that you see today have been built years ago. Some of the equipment that were used to build, they were used to build this building. Okay, some of the equipment are not functioning anymore. Some of the vendors are not functioning anymore. The project manager probably is retired. So when we say project product outlive the project that created, we mean that the project, most times, even when the product of the project is still standing, the project team, the equipment, some of the processes that were used to create the project are no longer in existence. Okay, now we said that project, if you remember, we said that a project will give you, okay, what you did not have before you started the project. This is Dubai. This is a picture of Dubai. This is Dubai now, then, and now. Okay, Dubai. This is Dubai then. This is what Dubai looks like at the moment. Okay, that means a project will change the entirety. okay, of an organization, or even the society, okay, where we are running this project. Okay, project create, okay, project create in line with goals, okay, and vision of that particular project. Okay, before Dubai entered into the construction phase, okay, where we now have a lot of construction company coming up with different construction projects in Dubai. Okay, this is what Dubai looks like. Okay, very dry. Okay, not too appealing. Okay, but after this project, okay, this is what we have now. Very appealing new face of Dubai, where everybody wants to go. Then, yeah, we're saying that the project revolves around the following, which we have talked about earlier too in the earlier definition. It revolves around time. Okay, what we have here are resources. Then this is a quality standard to give a unique outcome, and then also scope. Okay, scope, there has to be a scope to your project. We need to know what exactly the project is all about. We need to have a clear-cut idea, okay, on how long it's going to take us to run the project. What are the resources that we are using? Okay, what quality standard, okay, are we using? Are we using IEEE standard? Okay, are we taking into consideration some of the standard of sound standard organization of Nigeria? Okay, if it's a construction project, are we following construction codes? Okay, are we following government policies? Okay, we need to take all this into consideration when we are coming up with our project. And then the unique outcome of the project will also be specified, what we call deliverables. Okay, unique outcome, deliverables. Okay, and then of course many deliverables will be created, okay, from the beginning of the project before the end of the project. Okay, but the overall outcome of the project is still a deliverable. Now let's look at what makes a project a project. Okay, what makes a project a project? Unique outcome. I think we have said so much about this. Unique outcome. Okay, then it follows a planned, organized approach to meet their objectives. It follows a planned, organized approach to meet the objectives. That's what we call project management. Okay, when you create a plan and then you put them into sequence, and you tell your team that this is exactly how this project is going to run from this sequence to the next sequence. Okay, talking about project management, it has a life cycle. Okay, definitely start and end date. Project don't go on forever. It has a work scope that can be categorized into definable tasks, what we call WB. Yes, that's work breakdown structure. We are going to be looking at that under scope management. Okay, it involves a team of people. Yes, you need to assign certain individuals, okay, what we call the project team, to this project. Then it involves a unique set of stakeholders. Yes, and you, of course, you need to know the peculiarities of your stakeholders. Stakeholders for project A might not have the same features, may not have the same characteristics as stakeholders for project B. So we need to understand who your stakeholders are. And it is likely to require the use of multiple resources. Many of these resources may be scarce and may have to be shared with others in the organization. And that is why PMO is a concept that a lot of organizations are really embracing. And that's Project Management Office. Okay, because the PM will actually help the organization to coordinate these resources for different projects that we have. Then it may require the establishment of a special organization like PMO or a project department, or the crossing of traditional organizational boundaries. Then a project will also have established budget. Important project factors. These factors are essential for project success. 1. Agreement among the project team and the stakeholders, which include the customers and management, on the goals of the project. That is very key, and that should be done from the very beginning of the project. And that is why documents like project charter, statement of work, contract and agreement, okay, are used at the beginning of the project, okay, so that we can have a clear idea of what the project is all about and what is expected of everybody that is involved in the project. And then we have agree on time, agree on funds, agree on vendors to be used, agree on standards that we're following. Then also support, okay, this is very key as well, support from management to supply the resources and to remove organizational boundaries or organizational obstacles. Okay, no matter how fantastic your project idea is or your project plan, if you planned your project in Canada, you came back to Amsterdam to plan your project, you went to Paris to plan the project, if you don't get support of your management, okay, that project won't fly, to just remain a plan. So it's key that you have the support, you have the backing of management, okay, on your project, so that you can always have access to resources, and then your approval process as well and decision making process, okay, will not be cumbersome. Okay, then communication, which is very, very key. And what we are saying that we're not just talking about ability to talk. Okay, we are not talking about ability to talk. We're not talking about your ability to stand in front of people and say very interesting things. But we're talking about both verbal and non-verbal communication skills. Both verbal and non-verbal communication skills. Ability to talk is part of it. Technical writing, okay, use of body language, facial expression, okay, active listening, okay. We are still going to be looking at some of these skills when we get to communications and management. And we say it has to be effective, it should be appropriately delivered and ongoing throughout the project. Communication must be effective, appropriately delivered and ongoing throughout the project. Almost every project management technique involves some form of communication. Yeah, without clear, concise communication, people on the project team will never be able to agree on goals and then meet them. Okay, people on project team will never be able to agree on goals and then meet them. Okay, we'll take a short break and then we'll continue with project and regular work. Thank you.